Dr. Dolly, first, thank you for all that you do. I am an academic physician who was lucky enough to stumble across your content as well as the content of other like minded individuals as I began to educate myself on financial literacy towards the end of fellowship. I now want to pass on some of this knowledge to the upcoming generation and am considering developing curriculum for students, residents, and fellowships at my institution and regionally. As I start to consider what content and what resources I might provide to these individuals, I start to think about the possibility of partnering with local individuals who might be selling disability insurance or life insurance, or who might be financial planners. This gives me pause as I don't want to have any significant conflicts of interest. I don't want to direct folks who are giving their trust in me into the hands of people who may have questionable motives. And I also feel a little funny about taking any commissions or kickbacks that might be involved. You've always been very good about announcing any financial conflicts of interest you may have. Just wonder if you have any general advice on how to go forward.
All right, let's talk about conflicts of interest. This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart and one I've been dealing with now for over a decade. Here's the deal as far as you go. The easiest thing to do is for you to not have any conflicts of interest personally. That means you make no money from the course, you sell no products, you have no for-profit blog on the side, you don't write a book that you sell, you don't take any money from guest speakers that come in, you make nothing off it. That's the easiest thing to do. When it came to the white coat investor, I wasn't willing to do that. I wasn't willing to do all that work for free. And so I've had to manage the conflicts of interest with regard to me. And the way I have done that is through very transparent disclosure of my conflicts of interest. So people know when I'm getting paid, when it's an advertiser, so on and so forth. Occasionally, I get criticized for not being more transparent, and which always surprises me since I feel like I'm more transparent than anybody else I know as far as financial conflicts of interest. But bear in mind, even if you do that and you disclose your conflicts of interest, there's going to be some people that are unhappy with it. Number one, they're going to feel you haven't disclosed them at all. Number two, they feel like you should be working for free. And if you're willing to do that, great. I was not. And so, I've had to deal with this. If you do decide to take any sort of way that you're making money, I would encourage you to just be maximally transparent about that. If you have a book, say, here's my book. And if you buy that, I make $8.75 every time you buy a copy of it. If you're getting paid by, some speaker you have coming in, you can point out that this speaker is paid $2,000 in order to come in and speak. You can just disclose those conflicts of interest. In an academic setting, you're probably not going to be able to have that course if you have a significant personal conflict of interest there, I would suspect. It does cause some problems. As you might imagine, when people have a lot of conflicts of interest and they're teaching in an academic institution. It's interesting. We run into all kinds of different ways that academic institutions treat these sorts of issues. For example, a lot of we've been giving away our new book, The White Coat Investor's Guide for Students, right? We're basically giving it away. We're giving it away through class champions of the first year class of the medical and dental institutions in the United States. And occasionally they run into a problem with the school where the school doesn't even let them pass out free books, even though it's not being done by the school, it's being done by a student. But they just really have a problem with it. And so you may run into those issues. As far as guest speakers for your course, I think the best you can do is to just disclose that if people go to them and buy services from them, they get paid. And so they have a conflict of interest. A disability insurance agent, for instance, has a conflict of interest in that they are more likely to recommend that you buy a disability insurance policy, that you buy the ones they sell, not the group policy provided by the residency or whatever, that you buy as much of it as possible and that you buy as many bells and whistles as possible. So I would just be very clear about those conflicts of interest when they come in. But don't kid yourself. Just by bringing that person in, they're going to get some business from it. Some of those students or residents or whoever are going to listen to their spiel and they're going to go, well, I know this guy. He seems like a good guy. I'm going to buy my disability insurance through him. And they're going to get some business from it. And all you can really do is disclose those conflicts of interest. The alternative is that you can make nothing from the course, you can get paid nothing, and you can bring in no guest speakers, other than ones that also have zero conflicts of interest. That's really hard to do, though. You'll have a hard time putting together a course like that. And you probably won't get as much of an expert as you will from somebody that actually works in that field. You'll probably get more specific information from a financial advisor and a disability insurance agent and attorney and those sorts of people. And so in general, people that have put these courses together have found that it is worthwhile to bring in those experts, disclose their conflicts of interest, and the experts are more than willing to come in because they are making money from it, without a doubt. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.